Great. There we go. So, welcome everybody. Sydney um, was just there, Coach Sydney, who's looking after and overseeing the JOW program. And then we have myself. I am club manager of the Cascade Swim Club, along with Coach Jackie, who is our head development coach and oversees all of our programs for these younger JOW and swim school as well as JAG. So just a couple quick little things, and then we'll turn the meeting over to Sydney. We are recording the meeting just in case anybody has missed it, so that they can go and view it, or if there's something that you feel like you have missed and want to look at over again, you'll be able to do that. It'll go up on our YouTube page tomorrow morning. If you can just stay on mute, that would be great. You're more than welcome to have your cameras on. If you do have a question, put it in the group chat. We'll be checking that throughout tonight. And then if we forget something or forget to address anything, we'll go back to the chat. A lot of the questions that you may have will likely get answered throughout the meeting. But we will go back to the chat just in case something comes up that, as I said, that we haven't addressed or we've forgotten. So we will have this presentation up for everybody to see. And with that, I think that we will pass on to, there we go. There we go. For Coach Sydney, if you'd like to go right ahead.
Awesome. Thank you. Hi, everybody. So yeah, as Jason mentioned, I'm Coach Sydney. I'm primarily at Canyon Meadows on Mondays and Wednesdays, and then I'm at Seton on Tuesdays and Thursdays. We have new JOW swimmers that joined three different groups this session. So we have the Monday, Wednesday group B, which is the 4 p.m. group. It runs 4 to 5 p.m. That's run by Coach Soleil and myself assisting. And then we have Group A on Monday, Wednesdays at Canyon Meadows. That's at 5 p.m. with Coach Cassandra, Coach Bria, and also myself. So I've probably seen some of you guys on this call already. And then on Tuesdays and Thursdays at Canyon Meadows, we had two new JOW swimmers join that group as well. And that's led by Coach Maria, Coach Ben, and Coach Arthur. So hopefully things have been going well for the first week and a little bit here. Everyone who I've seen so far has been excellent. I'm really impressed, and we're happy to have some new swimmers join. A couple things in terms of scheduling, we have a digital calendar accessible through the Cascade website. That's kind of accessible to you guys at all times. Just to be clear, the group B Monday, Wednesdays, that is 4 p.m. You guys are on the same Monday, Wednesday Canyon Meadow calendar. Yeah, sorry, Jason, if you don't mind pulling it up, I'm sending you jumping around a little bit, but
Yeah, no
um,
problem. I'll grab that. Just give me a second here and we'll get her up.
sweet. So yeah, on those calendars for each of your groups, it's all their practice times. If there's any schedule interruptions, they'll be on there. For your guys' groups, this session for spring, we don't have any current rental interruptions because everyone right now is practicing at Canyon Meadows on this call. We have meet deadlines on there. This meeting is on there right now. Yeah, if you look at the Monday, Wednesday Canyon Meadows, that'd be great. Perfect. So you see Group B is at 4 p.m. and Group A is the 5 p.m. group. If you look in May there, you'll be able to see our next swim meet. Or there might be another one potentially, but these are the
Yeah.
ones for sure confirmed.
I think we are going to do that additional
Oh,
one that just came
awesome.
up today, Sydney. So if you want to,
Perfect.
yeah.
Yeah, as Jackie mentioned, we just added another swim meet actually, so more information will be sent out for that shortly. But that one will actually be on April 25th. So it's not on the calendar yet. We just got the details today, but as soon as we have more information, I'll probably add that to the calendar tomorrow or something for you guys to see there. More swim meet details otherwise are sent out in emails from the office or from myself a couple days before the swim meet with everything that you need to know before attending. In order to attend these swim meets, you do need to declare your swimmer properly. So there's a declaration deadline that'll be sent out by the office, usually a month or a few weeks before the swim meet date, you'll have a couple weeks there to decline, which is accepting your swimmer's attendance or saying they're not coming. You can include any notes in there too. I don't know if we're hopping over there yet, but
Sure. So we can do that. Just give me a second and I'll get
yeah.
to that. So, as Sydney mentioned, you'll get an email that would come to you, and it would, by following the instruction of the email, clicking on it, it will take you to where I am going to show you now. But in the meantime, if you ever lose track of your email or just want to go and take a look yourself, all you need to do is go to our website, you click on events, and then all of the summits that are listed here. So, also other things are listed here, such as bingos and things like that, that are not necessarily relevant for what you're looking for right now. But regardless, if there's this, I don't think we have your meets. We don't have any your meets up just at the moment, but we just take a look at one as an example. Um, this Maverick Tsunami, which is coming up in May. By clicking on it, all of the details for the event are here, such as the location, the day, when it starts, when it finishes. There's a meet package there. It's not really relevant to anything you need to worry about in that at this stage with your swimmers. But again, all of the information, such as the confirmation deadline, this meet, while it's in May, the confirmation deadline was back at the end of March, a couple of weeks ago. But again, all of the details are listed here, such as cost, when to arrive, and so on and so forth. As Sydney said, you'll get an email from her. You'll get an email from, if it's maybe with in conjunction with another group, it might be from Coach Jackie, but giving you all the details in advance. Um,
And Sydney has typically lists on her calendars like when the deadline is to confirm your attendance at the meet. So whether that's going or not going, like she mentioned, that information is in the email you'll get, and that is an important piece of information. So watch for the deadlines to sign your swimmer up because Sydney does need time to do the entries for the meets, and so yeah, it's usually, like she said, a couple weeks ahead.
Yeah, and so just as a general rule of thumb, when the event is May 30th, whomever happens to be hosting it, the actual deadline to give them our entries from our club will be at least 2 weeks in advance of that. So that would be, as an example, May 16th. The deadline we would ask of you would probably be a week to 2 weeks in advance of that, which would mean that we would be asking for somewhere in the first week of May to hear from you. If our deadline is the 16th for an event that is the 30th, and you would probably get the information 2 weeks prior to that. Notwithstanding all the general information is put upon that calendar, but all the details start to roll out to you 4 to 6 weeks in advance and so on. I'll just show you on
I was
here.
just going to say, now,
Yeah,
now that we've said that, this meet that was just brought to our attention today is going on the calendar late. So you're going to it'll be a quick turnaround to declare your swimmer when that one comes out.
tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the reason for that is really the host, which we were not originally planning to attend their event, asked us because they had extra space if we would like to put our swimmers in, and so we're taking advantage of it. You'll see how busy events get in Calgary and how well subscribed they are, and so an opportunity like this came up, and we're taking advantage of it. But regardless, you'll see on all these other events, they're all gray and blacked out just because they're previous. This one is not yet posted, the Cascade Spring Fundamentals. But what's important here is this accept and decline button. And again, when you get the information from us via an email from the club office with the event details, it will take you to it automatically. But if you needed to go and look, all you're really doing is you're clicking on accept or decline. Were I a parent with a swimmer eligible for this event, their name would show up right here, and then I just click submit. One of the things that Sydney mentioned just as we got on this discussion regarding the events and sign up is the notes section. And so again, just because I'm showing you an event that I don't have a swimmer for, it's a bit in the future, you can't see this here. But Sydney, did you want to speak to the notes and what you're looking for, hoping for from families when they do the sign up?
Yeah, sure. So the meet that you have, this Cascade Spring Fundamentals, is a great example. It's a 2-day swim meet. So it's a Saturday and a Sunday. So maybe you have a swimmer wanting to come to the swim meet, but they can only attend Saturday and not the Sunday. Or maybe they can come Saturday, but they're going to be 30 minutes late. There's a little note section that you'll have when declaring your swimmer that you can include those details of, hey, Anna can only come at this time or whatever. And I can still make a workaround so they can participate in the meet. Sometimes I'll see a note on there that my swimmer has to be done swimming by 3 p.m. Let's say the swim meet starts at 1 p.m. and events typically will go till 6 p.m. So you have to leave halfway through the meet. What I'll make sure that you have to that I'll make sure when I do the entries for your swimmer that they're not entered in any events past a certain time. So maybe they'll still get to swim 1 or 2 events, but not the last 2 that they might have. And that's totally fine. We encourage participation regardless. So if you're eager to come but can't attend the full thing, that's still awesome, honestly.
Yeah. And you see this one as an example, the Cascade Spring Fundamentals, and the highlighted here in yellow confirmation deadline of Monday, April 27th, which is 2 weeks from now, which is the timing of it is it's relevant because this event will come out tomorrow, Wednesday, to you as families, and giving you, as we said before, approximately 2 weeks to make your decision by the 27th of April. But just to point out, if you know the moment you get the email that says, "Hey, just here are more details. The summit is coming up." If you know then and there, try and get into the habit of saying yes immediately, and then leaving notes, regardless of even if it's a no, say no, you're not going to attend, because what the challenge ends up becoming is if you've not confirmed or that you're going, or you haven't said you're not going, then Coach Sydney or someone else maybe unsure, did you get the message? Did you just forget to sign up or something to that effect? So saying yes or saying no is really helpful to your coaches because as I mentioned a couple comments ago, meets are so heavily subscribed here in Calgary. If we don't meet a host deadline, we may not be able to participate. And certainly, if you have missed the deadline and we've already submitted our entries, then it's a real challenge to try and get a swimmer in. And also, if on the flip side of that, if you've committed and then something happens and changes, your swimmer's availability, you have to let everybody know immediately. And when it's past the deadline, there's no guarantee that any fees can come back. So important to know and to sign up early, but also to understand that as soon as our entries have been submitted and the entry deadline has passed by whomever is hosting the meet, there's not very much likelihood that you would be able to get your fees back on that. And it's just a reminder as you're getting used to this whole process of entering competitions and attending competitions, are some finer points just like that. So
I just had a really quick thought. Also, sometimes in passing with your coaches, you might mention, "Oh, we're just going to do Saturday, not Sunday," or there's a note around a meet detail, and also follow up in the notes section because I'm sure Sydney's memory is much better than mine, but when people tell me things, I don't remember. We have a lot of entries to do, and Sydney has to do entries for many swimmers. So it's a nice reminder if you mention it in an email or in passing, also follow up with the notes in the entry section so that she sees it when she's actually doing the entries. Because it's,
a
I
very
can't
good
read.
point. All the messaging should be done in writing, just so
Yeah.
that there's a paper
Just a
trail to
follow-up.
follow,
Yeah.
so that nothing gets missed and something important like that. Exactly. So
Right.
okay. Sydney, any more on meets, or Jack, anything more on some
I
meets
don't
for?
think so, Sana. No.
Yeah, maybe we'll come back to some meets after at the end there, getting into kind of like expectations and stuff like that. I think
Okay.
in your PowerPoint we'll talk about a little bit about gear first and practice,
Okay.
and then finish with the rest there. But yeah, the practice time too. Most of you guys have seen already that or have been coming about 10 minutes early to practice, which is fantastic. Typically for our swimmers, and I know it's tough, especially if you're in that 4 p.m. group, school ends 3:30 for some of you guys, 3:35, whatever it is. It's tight to get your swimmer there for 3:45 or to be there by 3:50. It is important as much as you can be there before the practice time, the better. We like to do an activation with the kids about 10 minutes before, and then we'll start going over the warm up on the whiteboard before our practice time. So that way, right at 4 p.m. or right at 5 p.m., we can get our swimmers in the water and take advantage of our pool time. So, yeah, just as much as you can be there 10 to 15 minutes before the start of practice time. That would be great. If not, is what it is. But we would love that. Yeah, equipment. Perfect. So for JOW, there's some added equipment from swim school. If you were starting in swim school, you might have had to get fins. Going into JOW, we need fins, so training fins, any that are like short, flexible fins that aren't really stiff and hard plastic fins. Those types of fins are really hard on developing joints, and they don't really support proper kick technique. They tend to like have really big kicks. It's really hard for our kids to use those. So the Finis floating fins, like we have on the PowerPoint here, Arena Tech Fin, Speedo, any shorter fins are preferred, or if they're the longer ones, the floating fins are great. If you're not sure, you're welcome to send an email or send a text or with a picture or ask before buying if you need to. Usually I'll send a note home if there is any concerning equipment pieces. And other than fins, a flutterboard or a kickboard is great. Some of our GOW swimmers, like a shorter board is also ideal. It's just easier for them to hold properly. The long adult boards aren't always the most comfortable, but if that's what you have, we can absolutely make it work. Just little preference there. The new piece of equipment that we have in JOW, other than a kickboard, are training snorkels. So training snorkels, they have a forehead band. It's not the exact same as a diving snorkel or scuba snorkel, which kind of like attaches to a mask that covers the nose or covers the whole face. We don't want those. This training snorkel has just a forehead piece and a mouthpiece, obviously. We can get those training snorkels from Team Aquatics, which was sent out, that discount card was sent out by the office with details there. We've started using snorkels a little bit in practice. We used them once last week. We're going to be using them next week a lot, especially. They're really uncomfortable when they're starting out with little swimmers. So the more you get comfortable practicing at home, this is exactly what they look like, the better. You can practice in the bathtub with a nose clip or without a nose clip, just while the kids are getting used to it. Make sure it's fitted to their head so that way when they come to practice, they can use it. They're good to go. Maybe there's some issues and that's okay, but it's not completely brand new. They've had some time with it at home.
Mhm.
Yeah, they're great training tool. We use them to help head position and numerous other things. So it's really important our swimmers have those. Other than that, goggles, swim goggles, I recommend bringing two pairs if you can. Sometimes they break in practice, so they're important to have. None that cover the nose is the important thing. We want swimmers to be able to exhale properly from their nose and or mouth, but ideally nose. So those kind of goggles do, the ones that cover are not great for training. Um, Other than that, Cascade gear specifically, um, before your first swim meet, you can pick up a Cascade branded swimsuit from the office. Your swimmers will also get a Cascade branded swim cap. I believe the Tuesday, Thursday group has gotten their caps, and the Monday, Wednesdays, you should be getting them on Wednesday. We were just waiting to make sure we had enough for everyone to give out at the same time. So those are coming. So you'll get a swim cap in practice. You'll have to pick up a swimsuit at the office on your own time before their first swim meet that they attend. And then you'll also get a Cascade branded t-shirt, but that'll be given to your swimmer when they attend their first swim meet the day of. I'll have those ready for them on the pool deck. The office, Jason, just in case anybody doesn't know where to pick up their swimsuit. Perfect. Yeah, it's at M&P Community and Sports Center. The office hours are posted online, but typically what you have there on the PowerPoint, Thursdays 4:30 to 7, Tuesdays 10 to 2. Sometimes we have families that are, oh, I can't make it there during those specific office hours, or could you pick this up for me? We don't do that. We don't have coaches go and retrieve a swimsuit for you. So just letting you know right away. But if you send an email to the office, Ella, who's our office admin, and Jason's in the office too, you can potentially coordinate another time with them, hopefully, to pick something up or to pick up your suit, get it fitted, etc. Usually we're able to make something work for everyone.
Yeah, and one thing,
Yeah.
sorry, I'll just add to that, Sydney, on the equipment. If you know your swimmer's size, or have their current suit, you can always just send us a note, give us a quick call. Do you have a size 24 youth, for my swimmer? And we can just set it aside so that when you do come, it's all there, good to go. And you can always, if you're unsure of your swimmer's size, you can take two suits from us, have your swimmer try it on, bring it back, and as long as you keep the tags on and so on, it's not a problem. Just very quickly with the gear. The branded gear can only come from our office. Team Aquatic Supplies doesn't carry Cascade branded gear such as swimsuits, uh, t-shirts, caps, and so on. That can only come from our office. And likewise, the Cascade office does not carry any swim goggles or fins or kickboards. That's only at Team Aquatic Supplies. Just because I only mention that because sometimes people come in with the expectation that they can pick up goggles or kickboard. That's not product that is in our office. And by the same token, at Team Aquatic Supplies, they don't carry Cascade caps. So again, just to make that point of clarification for everybody.
Perfect. Thank you. And when it comes to swim caps too, so like I said, with your swimmer's first session starting this spring, they'll get a swim cap at the pool at Canyon Meadows from us if they haven't gotten one already. If they need an additional cap after that, they break, etc., it is $15. So that would just be charged to your account after handing it out. Just to be aware. Hopefully, if you guys did swim school with us, you have lots of caps that you've gotten from past sessions, so you should
Yeah.
be good. But yeah, just as a heads up. Similarly, or on another note about swimsuits, those training suits that you can get, the Cascade branded swimsuit, we have swimmers who use them in practice. Like they're great suits. You're welcome to wear them outside of swim meets. That's awesome. When it comes to actual training swimsuits for the kids, when they're in practice, we just want to avoid any t-shirts, long shirts, or any like full body suits. It can create a lot of drag. So even board shorts for boys, like ideally, eventually they're getting into jammers, whether it's a Cascade branded jammers or training jammers. You can get other ones in the meantime too. That's fine. But tightly fitted swim specific, like training specific swim attire. So the board shorts, they can get really heavy, weigh the swimmers down. Obviously, shirts can cause a lot of drag. They can impact mobility. I know some swimmers struggle with cold. I promise in practice they will be working hard and they they might overheat, honestly, if they're wearing a shirt. Not that we're going crazy, but yeah, it's not recommended. If your swimmer specifically really is uncomfortable, they are only comfortable in a specific shirt or whatever, and you're working on training them out of that, send me a message and we can make it work. Obviously, we want them to be comfortable in practice. That's the main thing. That comes first. But then also we want to make sure that they are ready and suitable for the training that they're going to be doing. Like we don't want them to be held back by their swim attire, right? So it's a balance. But yeah, if you have an exception, send me an email. Otherwise, that's kind of the standard for swim gear. Um, and then yeah, you will need a Cascade swimsuit for competitions, like I said, as much as possible. Um, Other than that, before we get into swim meets, the only other thing, hopefully everyone on this chat has joined the JOW parents WhatsApp group chat. So Ella, from the office, she sent out a meeting or a joining link, I think last week, if not the week prior, before the session started there. I'm pretty sure it's last week though. So if you haven't joined that, please do so. Sometimes we send forgotten equipment in there, updates and reminders. I do include a lot in emails, but we'll send extra reminders through the WhatsApp group chat too. We use it at swim meet sometimes to signal pick up and drop off when the meet's done. And you're welcome to coordinate with parents in there. Sometimes we have people who coordinate carpooling or whatever it is. It's just a great chat for there. Also, the JOW coaches outside of myself are in that chat too. So if your swimmer is sick or not coming one day or they're going to be late or whatever it is, you can send a message in there. You can also send one to us directly. If you don't want to send it in the big chat for something like that, that's fine. But typically, that's what that chat is used for. It's strongly recommended that you join if you haven't already. Yeah.
Did you want to go back to swim meets now, Sydney?
Yeah, that would be great.
Yeah.
How do we join that chat? Do you have the number right now? We don't
Sure, we can forward you that meeting link again after too. If you didn't get it or you weren't sure, just put your name in the chat and we can make sure that you're forwarded the link at the end of the meeting. That would be
okay.
great.
Yeah, and quite often, like you never know with pools sometimes, like as some of you might know, we recently had a closure at Canyon Meadows. There was a contamination at the pool, and like the parent group chat is perfect for that, to quickly say, hey, I mean, certainly doesn't happen very often, but practice was canceled on Friday. So we quickly had to notify the parents, and it's just a convenient way, to quickly get a message to everybody if we have to. So.
Yeah, for sure.
For sure, it's good. Yeah.
Yeah, so here it is, swim meets.
Awesome. Yeah, so swim meets, we talked about it a little bit at the beginning there, how to sign up for swim meets. Like Jason said, you'll be getting your first declaration info email, I believe, by Wednesday this week. I usually get a lot of questions from parents, especially for kids who are just starting. Is my kid ready to go to a meet? Can they do it? Or is it too soon? Swim meets are fantastic. It's a great learning opportunity for these kids. It's a great way for them to bond with their teammates, push themselves, have fun, and we do not enter them in any events that they're not ready for. So, for example, if your swimmer just started in JOW, maybe they're in the 4 p.m. group, and they're going to come to this first swim meet on April 25th, I believe that's coming up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's soon. It's coming up. They would only be
Yeah.
entered probably in a 25-meter freestyle, so that's one length, and maybe a 25-meter backstroke. If they're really, really strong, maybe they'd be added into the 50-meter freestyle as well. But otherwise, it'd be 25-meter events. And we are doing everything we do in practice prepares the swimmers for the swim meet. So even today, you'd see at Canyon Meadows, we did a lot of work on backstroke counts and finishing on your back and swimming into the wall properly with backstroke. So that directly sets swimmers up for swimming at 25 meters of backstroke and following the race rules. Now, there's a lot of race rules for swimming. The swimming rules are the same for the youngest swimmers all the way up to the most advanced swimmers, and it's complicated, it's complex, and that's okay. So disqualifications there you see at the top of that PowerPoint, DQs. Disqualifications happen for so many events all the time, especially in breaststroke and backstroke. It takes a lot of practice for our younger swimmers in doing these events. Sometimes they get a qualifying time right away their first try. That's fantastic. Oftentimes, or some of the times, they don't. And we're doing everything we can to prepare them to get qualifying times, but disqualifications happen, and that is totally fine. Adrenaline's usually pumping for our kids. It's hard to remember everything. They get race plans from their coaches. We do the practice and practice to set them up for these meets, but it'll happen and it's not a bad thing. So just prepare yourself for that too. Um, I'll send out some disqualification information to all of you guys who are new, before the first meet as well. So you have the information, but please avoid doing any coaching with your swimmers. It's really easy for them to get confused or stressed or anxious or uncomfortable or worried about pleasing their parent and following the rules And we just ask for zero parent coaching. It sets the kids up for success. It really helps them bond with the coaches and really know that yes, I can trust my coach. I need to listen to my coach. And it just sets everything up for success a lot more, I find. So please be respectful of that as much as possible. And just know that we are doing everything we can behind the scenes to make sure your swimmers are set up for success at the swim meet. Um, like Coach Jackie mentioned, I do the entries, add anything in the notes, that would be fantastic. Once swimmers have successfully raced an event, like a 25-meter event, then they might move up to the next one. Maybe they'll move up to a 50-meter freestyle or a 50-meter backstroke event. They'll usually repeat events a couple times though, just to build that comfort. But I do love to make sure kids are getting exposure in other events, even if um, yeah, even if we're not sure, we don't know kind of until they do it. Obviously, we make sure that they're ready, they've met like a baseline readiness standard before trying new events. Um, but yeah, if you have any questions about events, maybe you have a swimmer who really doesn't want to do a certain stroke at their first swim meet and it's something that's really they're really having a hard time with. You can also send me a message about that, put it in the notes. That's fine. I take that all into consideration with doing entries. There's no yeah, it's okay. It's a good thing. In terms of diving at the swim meets, we're working on dive progressions right now. If your swimmers are going to that April 25th meet and they're not quite ready to dive off the block, that's likely. We'll probably have them start in the water. They might be able to dive from the edge. Whatever their dive readiness standard is, whatever progression they've successfully met, that's what they'll be doing at the swim meet. We don't rush anyone up on the blocks. It's really important. It's a safety concern, right? So um, don't stress too much about that. In water starts are totally fine at fundamentals meets. And the meets that the JOWs are attending are fundamentals meets. They're learn to competitive swim based. They're based on fun, learning the ropes. Like there's a lot of support for our younger swimmers there at these meets from our coaches, from marshalling, from meet staff, etc. So they're not going in blind. They have lots of people there to help them out. Um, and yeah, when it comes to swimming, so like I said, I'll send out specific details, anything, um, details outside of the first swim meet sign up email you get from the office. You'll get from me a couple days before the swim meet. That'll be what to bring, the exact times you need to be on the pool deck, estimated end times, yeah, location, etc. In those emails. We usually have them arrive 15 minutes before warm up for activation. It's really important you guys come at that time as much as possible. We can get our swimmers organized for their events ahead of time. We do head counts to make sure everyone's ready before we actually start in the water and warm up. So make sure if you are coming to that first meet, make sure you're ready for that activation time, which is always 15 minutes before warm up. And we do a team cheer too. So it's a good team bonding time before we start racing.
It's fun.
Yeah.
I just had
Uh,
a oh, I'm
Go
sorry.
for it. Yeah, please. No, that's great.
I just had a quick thought on entry times and when we send the entry file to enter our kids in events, we're not allowed to have no time. So basically, for Sydney to enter your swimmers, for example, on their first go, she has to make up a time and enter them that way. So sometimes in the beginning meets, you may have a 10-year-old who's attending his first meet, and you might have a 7-year-old also attending their first meet, and their times might might both be made up, but they might be racing each other. So sometimes in the beginning, until your swimmers have their own times, just letting you know that don't be alarmed if they're standing beside someone who seems a lot taller. They're probably also a beginner swimmer. But it just kind of happens that way at the beginning until the kids all get their own times, and then they'll be seated in a heat with swimmers their speed.
Yeah,
Anyway,
and
yeah,
and as Sydney mentioned, these are fundamentals. That's the
yeah.
series that the JOW compete in. Fundamentals swim meets are first experiences up through kids who've been swimming for 2 or 3 years type of a thing. They're all, even though they're not from our club, they're all approximately at the same age. They're approximately at the same level. The boys compete against the girls, all is one. It's just all, as Coach Jackie mentioned, by time, but anybody coming to their first meet, probably even their second or third, their times that they are entered in will be made up
Mhm.
until they have a few results under their belt. And one of the points that was mentioned in the on the SUMI page is this app, Meet Mobile. It's just an app for you to follow the results for the event while you're there. Typically, or at least in the events that we host, swim meets that we host, the heat sheet will be there, so you'll be able to tell when Sally Smith, your daughter, is swimming the 50-meter freestyle. You can look it up on this app. You can see what event she is listing in. You can see approximately what time she will be swimming. It's there as a guide. It's not there as a hard and fast and an absolute because the app is not perfect and the people running the events, it's dependent on a lot of manual push from the Meet operating software to this app. But regardless, it's a free app for limited use. There's a paid version that's a little bit better, but it's $9 or $10 for a year, I think, and it has all of the results for your swimmers there. So,
Oh,
okay.
perfect.
Right.
Yeah, when it comes to bringing stuff to the swimmings before, yeah, we can talk about nervous swimmers too. Like I said, I'll send this out in an email, but warm clothing, water bottles, towels, sometimes multiple towels are needed, might be in and out of the water, in between races. We'll have extra swim caps on hand in case it breaks. Snacks, especially for those longer meets, healthy snacks that provide good energy or quick energy that don't require a lot of cleanup. So like nothing that's going to create a lot of crumbs on the pool deck. The pool deck can get gross very quickly with a bunch of food. So just be mindful of that. And really unhealthy stuff. We don't want swimmers getting sick or feeling sick at swim meets or not being fueled properly for their races. So just keep that in mind when you're sending them to the swim meet with stuff. And they don't need any equipment. So any of their kickboard, snorkel, fins, those all stay at home. The only thing they need is their swim cap, their goggles, their Cascade swimsuit, which they'll get, and then I'll give them the t-shirt when they get to the meet and warm clothes, etc. But yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
Um, yeah, the last point here that we have other than oh yeah, sorry, really quick. If you're coming to Seton or at some of these pools, just make sure to set up a meeting spot with your swimmer, that you'll meet them at the change rooms. You have to walk them through the facility. When we have some meets at Seton, parents have to show ID before coming down on the pool deck. You walk your swimmer down. The coaches take them on the pool deck, but you walk them to and from the change rooms, obviously. So just make sure there's a meeting spot for when your swimmer's race is done where we can send them for you to pick them up. But yeah, otherwise, nervous swimmers are super normal. If you have swimmers that are completely new to racing, maybe they're a little bit more shy. You don't know if the competitive environment is the right, if they're, or not, sorry, or if it's not something they're super interested in, you don't know. Um, we strongly recommend giving it a try, regardless. We've had swimmers who cry at swim meets or come in really upset. They have some separation anxiety. Super understandable. That's all good. We're trained on that. We deal with it quite frequently, and we have a lot of supports available, like I've said before, for those swimmers. We try to make it as fun as possible, and they are really well taken care of on the pool deck. Um, it is important, like as much as possible, that parents don't come on the pool deck as much as you can. Like really leave it to the coaches. We'll work it through. We'll work through things together. We have all of your contact information. The coaches have your phone numbers written down in their duotings. If they need to get a hold of you, they'll give you a call or I'll send you a text or whatever it is. But otherwise, the nerves are honestly, it's just about coming and giving it a try. And if they don't like it, they don't like it. But more often than not, it turns out to be something that they really enjoy, something they want to keep doing.
Yeah, I think sometimes, especially the swimmers who are training at Canyon Meadows, when they show up at Seton for a swim meet, the atmosphere is it's a much larger facility. The swim meets are crowded. There's lots of people. Like the deck looks quite different from what they're used to in their day-to-day practices. So it can be a bit overwhelming in the beginning, but like Sydney said, just keep the conversation light. It's about having fun and connecting with their buddies on the pool deck. There'll be time between races to get to know each other, and like she said, it really is a lot of fun. So once you get over that initial, get used to the people on the deck and just the whole environment, it's really great. So
Yeah, just a couple questions that were in the chat
yeah.
that just so to make sure that we get to it, but a question regarding being new to the program, do the SIMMYs apply to him? And yes, as Sydney mentioned, I mean, the first meet we were intended on going to was May. This opportunity came up at the end of April, so we are going to invite these swimmers to it. And Sydney and the JOW coaching staff would be at their discretion what they put them in. If when you get the information, if you have any questions regarding that, if you're unsure if your swimmer is ready, just put it in the notes, and Coach Sydney will look at it and she'll get back to you. And or when you see her at the pool, or send her an email, and she can help you figure that part out. WhatsApp group, we'll get that sent out. I actually don't have that link handy here at this meeting. I will get Ella in the office to send it to this group again tomorrow morning so that it is out and aware. And then it'll go to whatever family email, address that is on file. There's a question about nose clip during training. Did one of you guys want to answer that?
Yeah, go
Um,
ahead, Sydney.
Yeah, they can when starting out to use a snorkel. Like sometimes it is more comfortable for swimmers to use a nose clip when they're starting out with a snorkel. I find for JOW and especially kids who are a lot smaller, like sometimes this nose clip kind of turns into a bit of a nuisance. They can't
Yeah.
really fit it to their nose. It's uncomfortable or they're losing it and it just turns into a big hassle. So we want them to get comfortable using a snorkel without a nose clip. That is the ultimate end goal. Um, but if it's something that your swimmer feels very strongly about needing while they're starting out, that's fine. We can slowly train them out of it. But yeah, as long as it's not becoming a big hindrance in practice.
Yeah, it is important that, when they're swimming that they get used to exhaling out their nose. Well, they should be at this point already doing that, but yeah, it should only really be used uh when they're wearing a snorkel. And you can practice that at home, as Sydney mentioned, like fill up the tub and just have them just practice breathing. They don't have to swim, but just float on their bellies and practice the in and out, just because it's a different breathing pattern. But yeah, try it at home in the tub, and then they'll, like Sydney said, get it ready for their head and set up for them so that when they do it in practice, it's not a big deal. Yeah.
Okay. Sydney, was there anything else that we wanted to go over, or do
D-
we? Yeah,
I
go ahead.
don't think so. I think we're all
Yeah.
good on my end. Yeah, thanks.
Okay. If were there any questions? I'm sorry, Jack, did you
No,
have?
I just have one other thought. This didn't come up, but people do ask and wonder. The swim meets are not mandatory, but they are strongly encouraged. And what we find is the swim meets really are sort of like the test of all the work that they do in practice. And like Sydney mentioned already, everything we do in practice is geared towards the swim meet. So we do hope that our hope is that they attend as many meets available to them as possible. Now, obviously, people go on holidays, you have things come up, and you can't attend everything, but we would encourage everyone to try and get to as many meets as you can. And like we mentioned earlier, even if it's a half of a swim meet or one day of 2 day meet, um, the more they race, I think you'll see the quicker they improve. And the more motivated they are in practice. It really does kind of, get them really hooked on this whole thing about racing. So anyway, it's what we're all about. We are a competitive club, and we really strongly encourage everyone to come to meets as much as you can.
Yeah. Okay, great. Any final questions from anyone? I mean, just put it in the chat. If it's something more complicated, by all means, come off mute and let us know. But
Yeah.
we'll hang out for a minute or two and just see if there are any questions that come up. And if something doesn't, you don't think of anything at the moment, it comes up in the next 24 hours, email Coach Sydney. I'm sure she'd be able to address that for you right away. If it's something administratively related or it's about equipment, Cascade equipment, please email the office and we can help you out with that. But yeah, it's everybody's open and available for communication, and we've got a number of different avenues to do that. And be more than happy to answer any of the questions that you have and try and make this transition into competitive swimming as smooth as possible. Question about the meet on the 25th of May, or sorry, April, sorry. Yes, that is a 1 day meet. It's probably about 4 hours long. Exactly what time, we don't have those details yet. Probably 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. or 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. Not exactly sure because as I said, they just asked us today. But yes, it would be a 1 day event and probably 4 hours, 5 hours at the maximum.
Yeah, so do watch for that email on those upcoming meets are coming soon.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and congratulations to everybody on the progress your swimmers have made. It's exciting.
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah.
Thanks very much. Is there any chance to throw is the WhatsApp just a number for that WhatsApp chat, or do you have to send that as a separate link?
Yeah, it's a separate link.
Okay.
Sorry. Yeah.
No worries.
So, or else we would put it in, and but I will get I'll get the office to send that out tomorrow morning, and then you and your partner, however you guys would like, one or both of you are more than welcome to get on that chat.
Awesome. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Okay. Well, I guess that's it then. So thanks, Sydney. Thanks, Jackie, and
Thanks,
thank you,
Sydney.
parents, for all
Yeah,
coming
thanks.
on this call and joining us here on a Monday evening. Anything comes up that you would like some further clarification on, by all means, let one of us know. And we will post this onto our YouTube page tomorrow sometime. That if you or somebody else in the house needs to go back to it, or if there are any of our JOWs that were missing in the meeting tonight, they'll be able to go on to it then. So thanks again for coming.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep, good night.